Data for this study were collected in the Rolling Hills High After School Film Club from January to June of the 2016-2017 school year and September to December of the 2017-2018 school year. Located in rural New York, approximately 75 miles from the nearest urban city, Rolling Hills High sits atop a hill just behind the city's middle school and serves grades 8 through 12 and houses almost 800 students. As a part of this ethnographic case study, I collected audio and video data, student and teacher artifacts, and compiled researcher field notes, both written and recorded. In addition, I conducted both formal and informal interviews with both the teacher and the students in Film Club. The focal participants in this study include the advisor of the Film Club, Mr. Jeremiah Johnson, and 3 student members, DJ, Ophelia, and Mortimer. Jeremiah Johnson had been teaching 9th grade English language arts at Rolling Hills High for 5 years. Johnson self-identified as an avid consumer of film, but a novice composer. DJ, Mortimer, and Ophelia also self-identify as novice film composers. At the beginning of my observations, both DJ and Mortimer were sophomores, and Ophelia was a senior on track to graduate in June. Data analysis focused on the experiences of these students and Johnson as they worked on a lyric video, a video poem, a movie trailer, and a documentary. My own background in theater and the arts, as well as my learning style, played an important role in the perspectives and assumptions that I carried with me when I entered the space. I assumed that students in Film Club would constantly be engaged and motivated by the use of film as a compositional tool. I assumed that every student in Film Club would be there because they wanted to work with film. And I assumed that each of the students would produce artifacts that represented their own learning and the identities. For the purpose of this study, I relied on a definition of rurality that acknowledges the social construction of rural spaces, but also foregrounds rurality as determined by quantitative measures of population and geographical location. In addition, this definition emphasizes rurality as fluid and individually constructed. First-round data analysis focused on data reduction. Having amassed a large corpus of data, I relied on my research questions as I listened to and transcribed only the dialogue relating to this particular inquiry. This included dialogue relating to film, composing, and student identity, as well as moments during which students talked about Film Club as a space. Transcripts created as a part of data reduction were then organized in chronological order by day. Next, I utilized holistic coding. During this process, I was able to identify 5 different holistic codes: process, content, teaching, student process, and identity. Each of the data sources was then color-coded by both participant and one of the 5 holistic codes. Third-round analysis relied on pattern coding and domain analysis to identify emerging themes in Johnson, DJ, Mortimer, and Ophelia's dialogue, with the exception of dialogue associated with their identities. As a result of pattern coding, I developed several codes that were then collapsed into 6 major themes: dialogic engagement, film as text, composing as messy, shaping at the point of need, collaboration, and taking ownership. In order to understand how DJ, Mortimer, and Ophelia's identities impacted their composing process and became sedimented in their artifact, I focused this part of the analysis on the parts of DJ, Mortimer, and Ophelia's dialogue that was coded for identity. I looked for instances of deliberate self-positioning as well as more nuanced reflexive positioning. I then returned to the dialogue that was coded for process, as well as DJ, Mortimer, and Ophelia's artifacts in order to understand how their identities impacted how they composed with digital video.